Kerri, hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you, Nicola? Good, thanks.
I'm good. I'm good, thank you. I'm really delighted to have you here today. And to give those listening a little bit of background, Kerri and I have kind of known each other in the online world for the past couple of years, and known each other as people do in the online world, that we were aware of each other but had never really properly connected before. And then about 2 or 3 weeks ago, I saw a post on Kerri's Facebook page that made me really sit up and listen. And it was a picture of Kerri looking absolutely stunning in a red bikini. And she was talking about body image and how women feel about themselves. And this really struck a chord with me because a lot of the work that I'm doing at the moment and talking to other women about is about how we have to get over ourselves and get ourselves out there on the online world. And for a lot of women, what holds them back is the way they look. So, Kerri, tell me a bit more about you and about that post that you put up, because it was a very, very powerful piece of content for people.
Yeah, definitely, Nicola. Like, it was a turning point in my life because I had grown up with people criticizing me about my body weight all the time. Like, I had health issues like polycystic ovary syndrome. I had been in car crashes. My back was wrecked. So all my, during teens and kind of going into early adulthood, I yo-yo dieted because I just wasn't really happy with myself. And I realized that when I started working in the online world, there's a lot of pressure to look good. So Instagram bloggers to feel like you are, beautiful online, you show up like with a shiny brand. And I kind of felt a bit like intimidated by it because it's like, you're sitting and you're helping people and you know that you're good enough, but in the back of your mind there's this subconscious thing telling you that you're not good enough and that your body image really is going to affect you and it's going to affect how you make money and it's going to affect your business. And to be honest, it's only because it's a lot of stuff that you've grown up with. So with people criticizing you or you've criticized yourself. And I was really inspired by Ashley Graham recently because she was on this Sports Illustrated magazine cover. And she talks about loving your body and feeling really good about yourself. And I realized that actually like only 2% of women around the world love their bodies. I think it's out of 4% that consider themselves beautiful. And that post really was about me, like it was divine download. So basically it was just like I had this inspired guidance to just act on it. And it was really about me saying like, I've got this stage where I've done a lot of inner work and that I do love myself. But it doesn't mean that I'm always happy about my body image. Like, it doesn't always mean that, if I'm unhappy with something, I'll just let it slide. There's something that I need to work on, whether that's somebody, like it's a criticism, a past criticism, or I'm criticizing myself for not feeling like a certain way or a certain size. But it's just really about being so self-aware now that I can actually truly say that I consider myself beautiful. And I think it was help other women and men. I had a few men comment to me.
Well, that was a question that I had for you. Do you think this is something that is solely a women's issue, or is it just something about the modern age that we live in?
I think society makes it more of a women's issue, but it's actually both. Because men are getting so much more insecure about themselves too, because there's a lot of pressure to look like male models, to, have like the David Beckham look, or, other guys in the media like Leonardo DiCaprio and people like that you kind of look up to and you think like, oh, I always have to be good looking. And it's about weight, and it's always down to weight as well. It's like weight is something that really, we're not a certain weight, so we're not good enough, or we don't, we're not a size 6 or 10 or whatever, even with men too. Like it's both a man's issue as well as a female's issue. And I think it's like the fact that when you kind of just separate it and say like only women don't think themselves beautiful, it kind of cuts out a lot of men.
Yeah.
Because men will not speak up most of the time. If a man has a body image problem, it's a lot harder for a man to go to somebody and say, I really don't like the way I look. And I think it needs to be a bit more of an open discussion between both men and women to say like, everybody in this world can consider themselves beautiful or good looking or good enough to show up online, or it's not even online as an entrepreneur, but even going to social events. A lot of people hold themselves back from going to an event with work colleagues, or, you know, maybe to the swimming pool. I mean, I had never worn a bikini really in years. Like, that was the third time I wore a bikini in my life. And for a young girl, like, you know, like young girls be wearing bikinis all the time, but for me it was a big deal. And it's not like I'm saying like, oh, wear a bikini or whatever, but you have to be able to get to the stage where you feel comfortable in your own skin to actually stop living in fear about what other people think of you and what you think of yourself.
So rationally, I can see that it's completely crazy that, you know, we are who we are. We do great work. We've got value that we can share with other people. And yet still, for me and for a lot of other women, and well, as you say, men as well, there's this little voice in your head that says, oh, I can't possibly put that picture up because I look fat, or I can't make that video today because my hair's a mess, or let me go and fix my makeup before I go to that networking event. What is it in our heads that is holding us back? If we can rationally see that all of these things are crazy and it's the message we've got to share and the value that our business brings, what is it that's stopping us?
Well, it's that ego, really. You know, it's that subconscious voice that's kind of always been there, because maybe you have to go back to really when you were a child and to see what was the experience that you had that made you feel really rubbish about yourself. You know, did somebody tell you were fat in the playground? Did somebody criticize you for the way you looked or your hair? Or have you just constantly been brought up to criticize yourself? And it's that perfectionism thing as well too, that, I mean, like when I'm on this call too, like, it's not like I don't have these thoughts either. Like, I'm going, is my hair look okay? Like, oh my God, like I have to fix myself. Like, you know, and it's like that. I constantly tell people, it's like that ego that wants to chirp us up. Because the thing is, our minds think that if we have a really good period of time of calling ourselves great, calling ourselves beautiful, really loving life, there will be an opportunity for the ego to step in and try and self-sabotage ourselves. But we think this is like the end of the world, and then we make it worse by giving that ego room to breathe, instead of being like, okay, this is my ego just trying to trip me up here because it doesn't think that I can, you know, be happy. It doesn't think that I, you know, it's like too good to be true. And so then it kind of steps in. So I'm always like, just shut up, like seriously, just shut up. Like, and like I stood at Adele on Friday thinking, oh my God, like I should be further ahead by now. Like, we're the same age. And I was just like, just shut up. Like, literally, you just have to tell your voice in your head. And it's like, we have to rationalize it ourselves, because everybody goes through it. It's not like there's people in the world that, you know, don't go through it. Celebrities go through it. We all go through it at some stage. This is why a lot of times when celebrities just can't cope, they don't feel they're good enough, or they feel like there's a kind of an experience as a child or something that's happened to them, like personal trauma, emotional trauma, whatever, that's really stopped them from feeling good about themselves. And you have to really do the inner work to kind of get to the stage where you know that this is just an imaginary voice and it's not real.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, it's making the unfamiliar familiar. So if you're so used to beating yourself up, you have to make that unfamiliar, and you have to make what, you know, calling yourself beautiful and saying you look really good today and your hair is great, you have to make that familiar, because that's probably really unfamiliar to you. And that is going to help you do a video, put a picture up, not care what anybody thinks of you, not care what you think about yourself either, because it's like you're stopping, like you're blocking yourself from moving forward.
Yeah. And you said there you need to do the inner work. So can you give some examples of what that might look like for people?
Yeah. So the inner work, like for me, I mean, like I've done a lot of work in terms of like energy work. I've done EFT, which is emotional freedom technique, which is tapping, like Jessica Ortner, Brad Yates. You can look them up on YouTube. I've also been to like body talk practitioners, because the reason why is last year I went to 3 different healers who told me that I had no self-love. Like, they did the whole chakra balancing. and 3 of them said I know self-love. And that was a lot of the kind of catapulting me to move forward and to really change my life around, because by that point, you know, if you can't really love yourself, it's really hard to love other people fully, because we mirror other people. And so I really had to go inside and think, why do I not love myself? And so like it was asking myself questions every day. So sitting and maybe meditating, or sitting for 5 minutes and journaling about well, why do I not like my body? Like I don't like my stomach because I put on a lot of weight there, because I've got polycystic ovary syndrome. And, you know, a lot of people ask me, was I pregnant when I was younger? And that really affected me, like, you know, and thinking, oh, or people call me fat. And then it's also using people like Louise Hay, who talks about telling yourself in the mirror, I love you, you know, I love you, Kerri. I think you're amazing. I think you're beautiful. And then switching it around. So you're using actually affirmations like, I am beautiful. I am great. I'm gorgeous. I'm intelligent. And then it's also finding people like maybe kinesiologists or energy workers or someone to talk to, you know, because it's okay when you're, you know, on your own and you're thinking about it. But after a few days, you kind of think like you need help and support, and actually reaching out to somebody else. So like a best friend or somebody that you'll know that'll be really supportive about it, that like will understand how you feel. Because sometimes when we're very like, I'd be very empathetic. Like my whole like business is about me listening to other people and to help them move forward. I'm very much like an encourager rather than somebody that's like tough love, you know, get it done. But it's like, because I know myself, like if I don't give myself enough encouragement, love or support, I'll not get that from anybody else. So it's basically like telling yourself every day that you're going to put yourself first, maybe prioritize yourself, maybe eat your breakfast first. Like I discovered this last week, that I was still putting other people first before myself. And it is really like catching yourself when you maybe put somebody else's needs before your own, when you don't provide yourself enough self-care, when you don't maybe go out into nature or walk or go to the swimming pool, or, you know, take care of yourself. You're not drinking enough water, you're not eating well, you're not sleeping well. Like even those things will really affect you and how you feel about yourself. Like I know like both of us are wearing blue today, and I'm like, we didn't even plan this, but blue, like pick out colors that really make you feel good about yourself. Like I tell people, if you've got a wardrobe that you hate and you've got different sizes, like say you've got really skinny, middle, big, it doesn't make you feel good about yourself. So get rid of it, sell it, give it to charity, or, you know, ask people, say if your birthday's coming up or Christmas or whatever, you know, you ask people for new clothes, or, and buy yourself something nice, because when you're actually wearing something nice which fits you, and it doesn't, and it makes you feel a bit better about yourself, then you're able to like just really love who you are and kind of show up in the world in a better way. So
and so I guess it's about doing everything within your power to make yourself feel good. So whether that's through your actions, through your thoughts, through what you're wearing, through the people that you're spending time with, looking after yourself, looking after your body, it's all of these things are contributing to how you feel and how you feel about yourself.
Yeah. And I think it has to work all together. I mean, like if you think about it, how would you treat your best friend? You know, would you look after them in a really good way of making sure that they're getting enough sleep and, you know, looking after themselves? And you have to do the same thing for you. Like it has to be so, it can't just be one thing or the other. It has to be the whole lot. But it doesn't mean that you have to spend your whole time doing things. It's just if you pick something that you can work on today and then the next day, and make it really like a consistent action, so that you just keep continuing looking after yourself. And it could be that you're not really good at setting boundaries with other people. And so, you know, that makes a really big deal, you know, with your body image and the way you look and things like that. Because if you're always kind of saying yes to people and doing things for others, you feel really resentful and guilty, and that builds up inside of you. And then it comes out in different ways that you'll beat yourself up. You'll tell yourself that you're not good enough, or you're not worth putting yourself first. And it all comes down to your own self-worth, your own self-love, self-care, that kind of thing inside that you know that you've got to definitely work on.
Yeah. Another topic that I'd love you to touch on is comparisonitis. So comparing ourselves to everyone round about us. And you mentioned earlier that you were at the Adele concert at the weekend. You're roughly the same age. And you have those feelings of, oh my God, I should have done more. I should be more. I should be more successful. I should have this stadium full of raving fans. We all do it. It seems to be this natural reflex that we do it. And I think when you look at the online world, it's a really tricky place to navigate, because what you see in the online world is what people want you to see. It's not necessarily the reality, it's what they're telling you the reality is. And so, you know, you're comparing yourself against something that is maybe not actually true. You know, you're comparing yourself against these other people, whether it's your competitors or other business owners. And you might start to feel, oh my goodness, I'm not doing as well as them, when actually maybe they're telling you the best version of their story.
Yeah.
Have you got any advice and tips for people on how to navigate that? Because it is quite a tricky situation.
I think comparisonitis is it's a good one to kind of try and conquer if you can, because we all do it. And I think, you know, maybe you've been brought up to always be competitive. So you're always, you know, having to get into the best universities or get the best grades, or you don't want to disappoint your parents and friends and whatever, family. And then that carries on when you're into business, because then you kind of compare yourself to the kind of big players, or the ones that seem to have it all together. Mm-hmm. And what I really realized, like last year, that kind of held me back a bit too, because I just felt like, oh my God, like, am I not good enough to be, because some of these people were charging thousands and thousands to work with them. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, you know, but I think it's just like coming back within to yourself and seeing what feels good, because in the online world, you do not know how long people have been in it for, how long people have worked to get to that stage. And you also don't know, as you say, behind the scenes. So, I mean, there were some people that I thought, oh my goodness, they're making so much money. And then it turned out they had like 100K debt. And I was like beating myself up about it for months, like thinking, and then you just kind of go like, do you know what, whatever works for you, because you do have to put your blinkers on. Like, you have to be like a horse and like, just don't look. I mean, I used to be like a competitive swimmer. So you stay in your own lane. Like, you don't look at the other side. But it is very hard not to when you're, especially online and social media, because it's so quick, so fast, so instant, that you kind of feel like you have to keep up, keep going. And I mean, I suppose like, I did at Adele, and I think it's because I'm somebody that's quite like ambitious and does want to do really well. And I've had my own struggles. And I think because I'm a lot more real with people about my own struggles and how I've got to this stage, I find it makes me more authentic, and it connects me with more people. And I think don't be afraid that if you want to share something a bit more personal, like, it's not a bad thing. I think sometimes we're taught that we have to have this best version of ourselves, like we have to be perfect. But actually what connects me and you more is the fact that we kind of share what's going on day to day. I mean, last week I think I went through every single emotion going. And like, I told people that, and then they were like, yeah, you know, I can completely understand. Like, it's like, you're not alone.
Yeah.
If you are feeling like you're comparing yourself, reach out and ask somebody for help, because the worst thing you can do is just sit and have a brave face on, because I did that for a long time. And I had put on a brave face about not doing well enough, not making the money I wanted to, not being able to work with the clients I wanted. And I think it just really opens your eyes to actually saying, you know, whatever works for you works. Because sometimes as well too, a lot of people think, oh, they can't go or they have to have, you know, a full-time business. They can't go and work at a part-time job or a bridge job, but they actually have to completely stop it. And I'm one of those people that's like, well, hold on a minute, because if you're in debt or if you're, you know, struggling to pay bills, having a part-time job is good, as well as, you know, having a full-time business. And you can tell people.
Possibly it's the best thing they can do.
Yeah.
Because it gives them that security and those finances flowing in that stops that feeling of desperation that I have to take any work that comes my way.
And I think that's what you don't want to be. Like, you don't want to be desperate. You just want to feel like, you know, you can help so many more people, because there are a lot of people out there with the same problems. Like, there are a lot of people in part-time jobs as well as full-time businesses. There have businesses on the side, and also you evolve in business. Some people start out doing completely different things. I know that when I started off, I did the career change things, and I'm still doing a bit of that, because it's like high-level career changers, and it also comes down to your own self-worth inside, you know, the confidence aspect. But I don't compare myself thinking, oh my God, like I completely have to leave this behind. I just think, you know what, like if I work with the right clients and we have a good fit, then that's what I want to do. And I think there's a lot of pressure online, and you have to work with somebody like a coach that you really connect with, because if you're going to spend a lot of money, you need to be able to have somebody that's very authentic, that's really will be able to work well with you, because there's a lot of people online that have spent thousands and thousands of pounds with this like shiny version that actually they didn't really want to be in the first place. Yeah. So you do have to kind of really go back within and ask yourself, you know, what do you want out of this business? Because there's no point in comparing yourself to anybody else, because people are at different stages. And sometimes you just have to catch yourself on and tell that voice to shut up again, because it is something that comparisonitis kind of kills our dreams a bit. Yeah. Because we're just so focused on that.
I would totally agree with that. And it's a message that I share with people that I work with, which is just about, as far as possible, just being yourself and being honest. So I was always the mother that would, you know, you go to the playgrounds and hear about other parents' children sleeping for 8 hours a night or 12 hours a night. And I'd be like, no, I was up every single hour last night, and I bet you were too. Because, you know, the more honest we are with people and share our experiences with them and our real experiences with them, the more people accept that actually is the norm. You know, you don't set up in business one day and automatically be earning 6 figures and looking amazing in all of your videos that are incredibly polished and professional. That's not the way it works. It takes practice, it takes dedication, it takes time, you know, it takes building up your audience. There's loads of things at play in this, and it's not something that just automatically happens overnight.
Yeah. And even, you know, some of the big players don't have perfect professional videos. Some of them I've come across recently are down the beach taking a photo, or outside taking a photo, and like their hair scraped back and they're not wearing makeup and whatever. And I think
they're just being human. They're just.
I mean, like, I swear, and like, you know, other people swear and things like that. And it's like, we're human. Like, I'm Irish, so I'll swear, you know. And it's like, if you don't resonate with that, like, you know, but it's like, we have to really get to that stage where you're okay being you. I mean, I looked at Instagram bloggers and thought, oh my God, like, I don't look perfect. And then people were like, well, what is perfect? Like, look at, you know, ask yourself, what is your perfect?
Yeah.
You know, your perfect is different to my perfect and somebody else's perfect. We kind of just have this perfectionism thing. And then we kind of show up online, and, you know, you're doing yourself a disservice by not showing up online. You're also doing other people a disservice because you're not giving your gift out to the world. And that's really what I thought about when I was watching Adele. I was like, it's so amazing to hear her share her gift with the world. And maybe that was my kind of kick up the backside, being like, share your message more, because it's worth hearing.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people out there that think, oh, there's too many people out there doing what I do. That's great, because there's obviously a need for your service and a need for you to show up online, and just show up in any way you can. You know, if you're really afraid of doing a video, do one for a minute. Do not watch it back. Put it up in a Facebook group that you feel really safe in. There's loads online that are very supportive, and you know, even my group and your group, Nicola, like, you know, it's like you just have to be able to share that with other people. And you actually think that once you start doing it, it's like a consistent action. So you just are like, you know what, I'm not really recording this about 1 million times. I'm just going to put it out there. And those are the best videos, because there's no intention. You know, it's like you're just putting it up. There's no attachment to the outcome or anything like that. You know, you just go, you know, I'm going to hopefully help people here, and I'm helping them in a way that I can help them, and to share my message. So I think it's just really about, you know, kind of going in and saying, like, you're good enough to put your videos out there and just show up in a way that you want to.
And certainly at the time of recording this weekend in the UK, it seems that live streaming has rolled out to all Facebook pages, which is just awesome, because it means that you can record live videos on there. I put one on this morning, recorded it. It all ended up round the wrong way and not looking great, but I still put it out there because, you know, it gets the message out there. The content was good, even if it wasn't the most polished video in the world. And I think it's such a fantastic tool for people to help them get over themselves and put things out there. And as you say, because, well, it's live, so you've not got that opportunity to watch that video back before you share it with people. You're getting it out there straight away.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been on Facebook, so I'm like looking forward to it, because it takes me so long to upload videos that I'm like, that is such a good idea, because you're just like, it's out there for the world. And the thing is, just one last point, is that if anybody comments about you being fat, or you don't look good, or what's wrong with you, whatever, that is their stuff, not yours. Because we tend to trigger other people. Like, my family triggers me the most, and I'm living with them at the moment. I've got 1 week left, and I'm like, thank the Lord. But you know, they are the ones that are going to trigger you the most, and they're going to say things for you to clear. So if somebody writes about, oh, you know, you're so fat, it's like their stuff as well. So they've judged themselves as they think they're fat. Then they've judged you because it's probably something that you need to clear inside of you, that you're thinking, oh, I'm fat, or whatever, you know. And it's just those three things that are really good, because then you get over when people write nasty comments and things like that. You just go, okay, see ya. Yeah.
Kerri, I could talk to you all day, but we're going to run out of time. Just before we go, can you tell us a little bit about your community? So it's a self-worth community?
Yeah, so I have my own self-worth group. It's basically for people to share about what's going on with them in terms of, you know, their self-care strategies, their self-love. I give loads of tips and free advice. And then I also have my own paid course, which is Find Your Own Self-Worth. And it takes you into 6 weeks of really looking after yourself, setting boundaries, seeing where you're not putting yourself first, looking after yourself, really embracing and loving and accepting who you are. So that is both of my things as well. But then you can also find me on Facebook and my newsletter on my website, kerriolone.com. So I'm on as Kerri Olone. You can find me, and I think, Nicola, you'll be sharing the links too. So
I will. Yeah.
With the name. So yeah, it's been really great to be talking to you and to talking to everybody else about kind of their self-love and their body image and showing up online. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, Kerri. And once again, thank you for putting that post up with your bikini and getting yourself out there, getting that picture out there, and letting people really understand what true beauty looks like. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I know, hopefully, well, that's my mission, is to move that 4% up, right up to 100% of people considering themselves beautiful. So that's my mission. So yeah, thank you so much, Nicola, for having me. It's been great.
Fantastic. Thanks, Kerri.
Thank you.
Bye.